talk us through your vision and your idea for how your own journey on with the Pond Foundation, My Carbon Zero, the ripple that is your aspirations for the ripple that you want to create.
Yeah, and you know, I think there are two ways that I've been thinking about this and sort of proceeded along and sort of my own journey. One is as a founder, as a leader, as a father, as a husband, is, you know, the values that I have to try to nurture and cultivate are things that, you know, should have a positive impact on others and people around. And before I can lead or sort of enable others, there's some personal responsibilities that I have to deal with. And over a period of time, been interacting with natural materials and wood, and traveling in different countries, enabling communities, and over the years, you know, you realize that actually, you know, it's not about what I say so much, it's about actually how I live, that is kind of of greater importance, and the other things, you know, might follow that. So, but there was a moment, it may have been a couple of years ago, that you know, one of the Netflix documentaries, we were talking about it earlier, Cowspiracy,
yeah.
And that sort of helped to bring together a lot of things that I was thinking. And, you know, Christina, my wife, is from Sweden, and so she brings a sort of natural, and from a farming family, crops, and she so she brought into my life, enriched my life with a whole different positive way of appreciating nature and just things that were so natural, they you know, to her, and her upbringing of minimal waste, of shopping products that were in season, and just a general much healthier perspective of environment and sort of rhythms of life and living. And so over the years, she's been my teacher in that respect, and begrudgingly I had to adopt some new ways, and other ways have just flowed much better. But that documentary, and we watched it together, and it just had this sort of light bulb. But it wasn't such a light bulb that the ideas were there. It was more a call to action. Yeah, that maybe there's something more deliberate it could be. And then, so we looked at how we were eating meat and different things. So we sort of slowly cut that down, and to kind of making sure we weren't eating more than once a week. And sometimes we don't, we wouldn't eat meat at all during the week. It depends, but it was just a more conscious, deliberate, sort of thoughtful approach. And then, of course, we were working with partners in sort of rural settings, and over the years, I built a network of 8,000 artisans, and we surveyed them all, we visited them all, and a team and I. And one of the questions was about the use of materials and where does your wood come from, and energy and so forth. And there's these issues were just not on the radar.
No, they'd never been asked before.
Never been asked the question. There's no education around it, and it's perhaps where we were, and where I grew up in the north of England, 60 years ago. I mean, we're responsible for much of what the disaster in terms of the Industrial Revolution and what followed. But but it was completely new, and so I was thinking, well, there's one thing trying to educate others, but I really got to organize myself better, and so when we started Kalia, it was okay. We really have to have a thoughtful, deliberate, planned journey that we can move along. And then I saw your LinkedIn, and when you launched the Pond, so I've sort of been looking from a kind of distance a little bit and following what's been happening, and then it was just kind of, okay, I got to do something. And so I reached out to you, and that's just the beginning. And sometimes these things feel like, okay, I'm protesting, therefore I am.
Yeah.
But that's just that's just one part.
It's a step, yeah.
It's a step, but actually it's solutions and practical things that make a difference. And I need help to do that, both at a private level, personal level, because I don't know how this stuff works.
Yeah.
And at a company level, we're dealing with a lot of moving parts. And I know you from your background with previously and the expertise and incredible experience you've got with these issues. So if I'm going to trust someone to help shape my life and my company, Scott is someone who I'm got to listen to.
Well, I appreciate that, mate. And we're on the journey. And you've become a founding member of the Pond Foundation, My Carbon Zero, which is it's very special to me. It's very special to me that you would do that, because there's a lot of people, I think, like you out there who, like you in one way. Like there's a lot of people. I was just saying earlier, there's a survey. There's a lot of small, medium-sized enterprises in the world, and I think it's 52% of the economic activity in the UK is generated by small, medium-sized companies. And one of the banks there, NatWest Bank, did a survey of them earlier this year or late last year, and 88% of them said, we want to do more on climate change, on sustainability issues, but we don't know how. We're lost. Someone tells us we should do this, someone tells us we should do that, someone tells us this, someone tells us that, and we're spinning around in circles, and most of them don't have the money to employ, for example, a sustainability manager, let alone a team. They don't have any money to bring in expensive consultants to guide them. And yet they want to do something. And of course, together, they comprise a big, not just economic activity, but a big social and environmental footprint. And it seems to me that these are the companies that we could reach out to and help. Of course, if a big company wants to come along and get some support and guidance, great. But it seems to me that the sort of companies that like Kalia, who want to do something, but just need that guidance. And so, yeah, the Pond Foundation is really to set up for everyone, for individuals, but also for businesses. But I think really to support people like you who not only just, I think there's a lot of people out there who want to do something, but there's not many people who are taking that step to actually do something. And part of that is just giving them the confidence that it's going to be okay.